Shooting it raw?
Yes. Shooting it raw.
Oh, what? Okay, what?
I don't see it.
Well, no, you don't see it. I mean, I can't share my screen. But, okay, so what it is a photo of a large, well, it's a macro shot. So it could be a large spider, or it could be a medium spider. It's a beautiful spider. It looks like it's on the floor next to what could be maybe a bathtub. I don't know. The field is gray and white, and the spider is beautiful. It's like this big brown. I mean, it's hard to tell scale. I mean, it could be 10 centimeters, or let's say 4 inches, or it could be 3 centimeters. I don't know. So beautiful creature. Yeah. So why start with this? What is this?
I just say it's a spider. I think for my standard, our standards, this is already big, but I can imagine someone in Australia would think this is a baby. Spiders, if you look at fears with people worldwide, one of the most common fears is, of course, fear of spiders and fear of snakes. And that is apparently something that people are born with to protect them, human beings, but it's a fear that is not there for the rest of your life. So it fades away normally. But especially in the Western world, a lot of people are extremely afraid of spiders. I don't like this picture, actually. You described it wonderfully. You said, what a beautiful creature. And I would love to see the day that I would be able to, from my heart, would be able to say the same thing and embrace it like, what a beautiful creature. But to me, it also ignites that sense of fear. And it's in my heart. It's really a deep felt fear. This is nothing like something learned, apparently. This is authentic. This is ancient. And for me, starting with this spider means two things. In life, we have either learned fears or we have gained fears, either by traumatic experiences or by just linking some situation to something else. So the connotation. And what I have learned in my journey when I changed my life and I wanted to go searching for the quest of went on a quest to search the secret of life, I learned that behind your greatest fears often is your biggest gift. Your biggest present is actually wrapped often in your biggest fear. And it seems so unfair to me, because why would I want to have to first conquer my fear or go through it or experience it fully before I can get this gift or get this present? So that's what I learned to master on for myself on many topics. I did a lot of effort to master it with spiders, and I haven't been able to fully master it. Spiders still scare the HLL out of me, but the bigger the worse. But the funny thing is, when I changed my life, I started on this sequel for this quest for the secret of life, and then I wrote a book about it, and there's a prominent space for spiders in it, because fear in life and fear of many things can be overcome, says the person who didn't overcome his spider fear. But hey,
sure,
I think it's a challenge and an invitation to us in our lives to look at fears and to overcome them, or at least face them and see what makes me so scared.
Right. You just dropped all of these amazing things for me to pursue. So one, first of all, is Hong Kong being subtropical, has a lot of snakes and a lot of spiders. And one of my hobbies as a photographer is to go out at night with a headlamp. And I'll send you later a link to my to this kind of gallery of shots where I have photos of the most amazing spiders, the most amazing snakes. And one of the things of my history that maybe you don't know is that during the 2009 financial crisis, I thought, well, I started something called Shark Rescue, right? So it was the idea to protect sharks. And of course, when people go swimming in the water, there's this massive phobia of sharks. And typically we're afraid of what we don't understand, what we don't know. And one of the ways to conquer a phobia or whatever is to dive into it. And the more you learn, the more fascinating things become. I mean, I'm not dismissing the power of a phobia. I'm not dismissing, especially when it comes to spiders. Yeah, like I love that you've started with this, and already that tells me a lot about, well, where your brain is. And then you said that this kind of ushered in a big change in your life. Okay, so where do you want to take us now?
Well, maybe one aspect of this fear of spiders, of the general fears, of course, is that what you say is that the wonderful what you did on this project on sharks. That's also indeed an animal that's of course rooted in fear, and especially with the Jaws movie in the '80s coming out, of course, that's
Yeah.
all been
Yep.
much more hyped. We had a movie about an elevator in the Netherlands, and my sister saw that movie when she was 6 or 7, so it was too young. Never ever in her life did she and does she get into an elevator. That's just
Oh
rooted in
no.
her. So it's
Oh
powerful
dude.
that way. But I think the world in our days is also well, it's not maybe managed in a way, but we see a lot of things where fear is being ignited and even augmented by media. And we, of course, as species, human beings have always had this fear of what is different, because that threatens the tribe, or it threatens the
Mm-hmm.
existence of the smaller group. But in our world, we still see fear for people who are different, with different skin color, with different religious backgrounds, different origins, different ways of thinking. And that's, in my view, is being augmented, and it's going in a direction where we get polarization, because people take stands
Mm-hmm.
or are forced to take stands, or media, or whatever your worldview is. But um, it looks to me like a development where people are put in places where they have to choose and say, I'm with it or against it, I'm for it or so it's black and white thinking that's becoming more
Mm-hmm.
augmented, rooted by this cultivation of fears for everything that's different or that might trigger us. A shark, of course, is dangerous in the sea, but how many? Of course, the chance of being bitten or eaten by a shark is very small. Of course, apart from some locations. So this topic about fear also is about it drives us apart as humanity. Whereas I would love to see, and that's what I try to do in my life and in my writing and everything, to get the opposite direction. Where's the common ground? Where can we find each other? Where can we connect and stay connected instead of being divided and polarized?
Okay, look, we've already been speaking for however many minutes. What is the title of your book? Well, no, no, two questions. How
Mhm.
many books have you written? Because I come from the world of books. And what is the title of your most recent book?
I only written one book. We're working on the sequel, but only written one
It's the
book, and
hardest.
you're right. It's called "The Girl Who Changed the World."
Okay.
And it's about indeed a girl that learns by her grandfather how you could look at life, at the world. He tries to teach her the secret of life by not telling her, but having her find out. And he does a
Hmm.
wonderful job in that. But in that way, he also is typical for, let's say, a lot of masculine leaders or energy, whereas he doesn't really walk his talk. He has a very nice and wise way of saying and putting things, but in his life, there were some things that he hadn't treated in his own way and wisdom. And when she finds out, his granddaughter, she said, at some point it becomes to an explosion. She says, if you are persisting in this way, I don't want to be your granddaughter anymore. And that hurts him so
Hmm.
much that he has to be confronted with his pain, with his biggest fear, his biggest pain, even his ancestral pain. And then he comes to a, well, understanding and a kind of even embracing his own pain and his own
Hmm.
ancestral pain, his ancestors, his parents, of course, grandparents, and before that. And that's just one element of that story. But for me, and then I'll stop talking because I know I tend to widen out a bit. But I wanted, as a 7-year-old boy, I didn't understand the world, and I wanted to understand life, the world wide is. So I thought I'm going to discover the secret of life in my life. But it took me 33 years before I went on that quest. And when I went on that quest, I discovered I can try to do it mentally, which I did all my life, but I have to experience it. And when I
Hmm.
was close to what I call the secret of life, it became just a secret of life. And then a whole ceiling opened. I thought, well, when you reach the end, it all stops. And I discovered, no, it opens up an even wider universe of possibilities and secrets and magic. And that was so amazing. So I actually, for myself, opened the door of never-ending options, possibilities, and magic, and that is, well, it blew me away.
Well, you're kind of blowing me away. So,
Okay.
is this a fiction book? Is it like what? Okay, is it fiction? And did you write it in English?
It is fiction. It's like The Alchemist. It's a story with many. It's like a parable. It's like a
Yeah.
story with many underlying messages and very good usable examples in it to use in your own life. But I wanted to tell a story because I wanted to be it relatable to and easily
Yeah.
digestible, and it has to take you from the start to the end, not like a sum up of facts or techniques. I started writing in English because I had the ambition to change the world myself, of course, and I wanted to start with getting this published by a New York publisher, becoming a New York Times
Mm.
bestseller straight away. So I started in English,
Nice.
and halfway I had it read by a lot of native-speaking people because, of course, Dutch is not my native language. And they all said it's nice, it's compelling, but it's not your mother tongue, and it shows. So you got to
Mm.
write in your own language, and then have it translated. I thought, damn it, I have this painting half ready. Why do you want me to start all over again? And at some point, I did, of course, and wrote it in my own language, and that's first published here in the Netherlands, and then got it to.
Oh, so it's been published.
Yes, it's
Oh, so
published.
it has been published.
It has been published in the Netherlands. It's yeah, in this country, we call it a bestseller. It's 25,000 pieces
Wow.
sold, and because the people were so enthusiastic about it, and it changed really so many people's lives in such wonderful ways, I thought, okay, now I gotta get it to America. So I had it translated, looked for a publisher, well, the whole shebang, because there is a mission. Like I want to bring this out, not for me, but for the world and for this message that's in it.
Machiel Hoek is in the house. I love it. We have to go on to the next photo.
Yeah.
I am excited. This is great. Okay.
Shooting it raw?
Yes. Shooting it raw.
Oh, baby, I